Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we want to take a look at the best teams for Season 26, the Kanto Cup. Kanto Cup is going to be available for the beginning as well, of course together with the celebration event that's currently happening. We're going to be able to encounter every Pokemon from the Kanto region other than Mew. And of course we're going to have a very exciting weekend coming up as well with an event where at least everybody anticipates that we're going to be able to encounter every legendary Pokemon that has ever been kind of released, other than like a few. So that's going to be exciting. But generally, we're going to talk about today, of course, about the Kanto Cup. There's going to be a video towards the legendary Pokemon as well, eventually on this channel. So definitely stay tuned. But of course, if you want to not miss that, then feel free to subscribe, and we can start off with the first team. Shockingly, I know it's crazy. Kanto Cup means you can use Pokemon from the Kanto region. That doesn't mean though it's only Kanto region, because you also have Alolan Sandslash, for example, that's going to kind of be from the Alola region, but they're still based on a Kanto Pokemon, so this is why this Pokemon is still allowed. The best Pokemon, by the way, if you take a look at the meta itself on PvPoke, it's going to be Hypno. It's the #1 spot, and Hypno has a lot of good matchups. Of course, Hypno got buffed since the last time this cup was around, with basically all moves kind of Hypno got buffed recently, like Confusion got buffed, the Shadow Ball got buffed, all the punches got buffed. Psyshock even got buffed, which is Pokemon learned. Like, Hypno got a lot of big buffs recently. And this Pokemon is definitely going to be very strong in this meta. Kind of wants to have some coverage against those Dark-type Pokemon, which you're going to have here with the Primeape. But also, basically what we have here is an ABC style line. This means that all Pokemon kind of work well together, like Hypno and Primeape work well together, Primeape and the Sandslash work well together, and Hypno and Primeape work well together, like this. Hypno and Sandslash is working well together. All three Pokemon basically have great cores together. This is kind of what I want to say here. So this is kind of different kind of styles of teams. I saw like a question on the last video where like, why do you have Pokemon that have like the common weaknesses? A lot of times you have it in the back. That's the ABB style. This is an ABC style line where all three are very different Pokemon. They all work well together in a core. And this is very solid in this meta. There's not really an hard answer to this one. Apparently Clefable is, but we have Sandslash in the back, which is, theory at least, a steel type Pokemon that can resist it. Of course, the Media Mesh is hitting us still hard. That's why it's going to be a bit of a tougher matchup. But generally speaking, this is an amazing team. Next up, Clefable. Clefable works really well, funnily enough, with the Alolan Marowak, which is very good in this meta. Alolan Marowak actually looks like a very fun Pokemon to run. It's going to be good against the Hypno as well as the Clefable, which is going to be fine, but there are a lot of other matchups as well that you kind of want to have this Pokemon for. Clefable itself also very cool against a Wigglytuff, which I assume is going to be a common Pokemon, as well as the Galarian Moltres, which is going to be a very common Pokemon. Lickitung looks actually very good in this meta as well. The thing is as well, I just don't really like this Pokemon too much after the nerf towards Body Slam, but I do still think it's going to be a good Pokemon to run. Definitely very much worth it here. Alternative is going to be Dragonair, which I would personally run, but Lickitung makes a lot of sense as well, just for a little bit of extra bulk here, especially if you have like a Pokemon like Alolan Marowak, which definitely enjoys having some shield still left. But yeah, this is going to be a very solid team, which doesn't really have an answer. Like, this team doesn't really have an answer. It's a very nice ABC style line again, by the way. So it's a very nice and strong team. Now we're going to take a look at an ABB style team. So we have a double water type basically in the back here with the Alolan Sandslash. We have a Slowbro, which is something that if you saw the video for the top teams for the Great League, it also got a team there, because I feel like this Pokemon is going to be a fun one to run. With Confusion being buffed only recently, with the Drain Punch and an Ice Beam basically here as well as a coverage move. This Pokemon is already very bulky. I would recommend you to go for a non-Shadow one actually for this Pokemon, just because of Drain Punch. But as we'll see here, that's actually a very cool team. Seaking here going to be our Say-Sub that's supposed to be able to bait out certain Pokemon. Is he going to have Ice type coverage and Drill Run coverage as well, just like you lead on the Seaking. You kind of want to bait out the Pokemon that, for example, the Sandslash doesn't, like, would be good against with the Seaking, and then still punish them, which is kind of the main idea behind it. A weakness here going to be Magneton, and Magneton is going to be the Pokemon that I kind of want to highlight here a little bit more throughout this one, because I do think that Magneton is going to be one of the most broken Pokemon actually for this one. It's only here on the bottom of the list. It's actually really strong in this meta. But that's going to be for later. There's going to be another team that's going to be very good. We're going to have here a Fire type in the lead, and two Pokemon that are going to be weak to Fairy types in the back. This is, for example, here again, more of an ABB style line, as you have double weakness in the back to Fairy type Pokemon, and a lead that's going to be good against them, even though you don't have the same typing itself with your Say-Sub as well as your Close-Up. Here we have the alternatives here of going for Dragonite or going for the Moltres. I actually built this team around Moltres. I don't know why I have it as an alternative option here, but yeah, Moltres is kind of my main focus of this team. And the Alolan Marowak core together with Moltres is basically impossible to break. I think the worst Pokemon to encounter here is actually the Blastoise, which I would say is going to be the toughest one for this team. But the rest is going to be super easy to deal with. Like, this is one of the best cores in the current Kanto Cup meta. And I would actually want to see if I can make some videos towards the Kanto Cup, because I find the meta quite interesting. And there are some teams that I find quite intriguing that I want to try out as well. So you're very likely going to see not only Great League content on this channel, but also Kanto Cup content. Because there are Pokemon like the Slowbro, there are Pokemon like the Alolan Raticate, there are Pokemon like the Weezing. They're all going to be very good here. And Raticate itself is going to be fantastic, by the way. Alolan Raticate didn't get buffed or anything like this anytime recently, but it's just going to have an amazing matchup against the current meta, as there are a lot of Pokemon that are weak to this thing. Like we have here, Hypno, weak to it. Lickitung, like triple resistant fast move damage. We have Lapras, double resistant fast move damage. We have the Slowbro, weak to the typing. We have Seaking, that's going to be just Seaking, and just only has neutral kind of damage there, it's not even stab. While you have stab crunch here, which is kind of nice. And then it goes on, like against Moltres, you resist the fast move, while we have return to retaliate. Against Mew, we're going to be very good. Like the list goes on. Raticate is amazing, and this meta is not going to be the only team as well with the Raticate, which you're going to see in the next team, by the way, as well. But here Slowbro is our say-stop that's going to be supposed to bait out the Pokemon that Hypno doesn't want to face. Because we're going to have access to Drain Punch as well as the Ice Beam. With Drain Punch, you're going to have coverage against the Raticate. With Ice Beam, we have coverage against the the Galarian Moltres. And that is kind of the main idea. You kind of want to bait those Pokemon out with your Slowbro so Hypno can sweep endgame. That's the main idea behind this team. Nothing really that I would say is going to be very difficult for this team as well. It's a very nice neutral team that utilizes the brokenness of confusion in this meta generally. Next up, we're going to have a Weezing team. Weezing, Mew, and Raticate. And yes, the weakness here for this team is absolutely the Magneton. But otherwise, this team actually looks like a lot of fun, and Raticate, Galarian, Weezing core is absolutely fantastic as well. And Mew kind of functions really well with it as well. We saw already there are a lot of good confusion users in this meta. And Mew acts as a perfect say-stop for this specific meta, because you're going to be able to beat those confusion users quite easily, but you're also going to be able to just bait out Pokemon they can then punish with the moves of Wild Charge and Side Shock. Like, it's a very nice moveset combination as well. It's very good against the Water-type Pokemon of this meta, like the Lapras and the Blastoise. And then in the back, we're going to have the Raticate, which just has a very good core together with the Weezing. Like, this team makes a lot of sense. It's a very solid team to run. And again, Magneton can be a bit of a trickier one, and you see actually on the bottom, like, apparently Mew and Alolan Raticate wins, but this is Shadow Magneton, and this does so much more damage and so much more difficult to deal with it. To the point that, of course, we had to have a team here as well towards this Pokemon. Magneton is fantastic. You can run normal, you can run Shadow. I would mostly run Shadow just for the Volt Switch damage, because this Pokemon is insane in terms of what you can do. And you see it here on the list. It basically beats everything. Like, it really basically beats everything. It's amazing against the entire meta right now, as especially the Mud Slappers kind of got nerfed. Magneton is here to destroy. Magneton is a Pokemon that you should definitely take a look at, as it's going to be super, super strong here. This is like a team that you can definitely run. Having a fighter in the back, like Magneton plus fighter, makes a lot of sense, because you're going to cover up the fighting type weaknesses of the fairy as well as the flying with the type that you have on Magneton. So yeah, this Pokemon is super underrated right now. I think Magneton would be definitely a showcase worthy Pokemon. But we can move on to team number 8. Which is going to be great, because we have another Magneton team. We can have here a team that's going to be a bit weaker against the fire-type Pokemon, which you see there as well. But it's going to be good against nearly everything else. And that's the thing here as well. Clefable can be a bit tricky, but this is because Alolan Raichu is what I have in the back there. But I do think, again, if you have Magneton in the back, of course, Clefable is not going to be an issue at all. Yeah, Magneton is just generally going to be the best electric-type Pokemon in this meta. So this is kind of a very solid alternative option here for a Magneton team, where you have this as a closer. I do think it functions best, though. It is a lead where you're going to have immediate pressure with this Pokemon. Next up, we're going to take a look here again at Magneton. Like, it's just such a strong Pokemon. Like, I didn't want to spoil it immediately in the beginning. It's like, for the people that actually watched the video, Magneton is fantastic for the Kanto Cup. We're going to have here the Dewgong say-stop. We're going to have the Marowak in the lead. It's a fantastic core. Again, like, you can run the Shadow Magneton, which I feel like is going to be a little bit stronger, but like, this is just a general good team together. Funnily enough, Marowak doesn't really look that strong anymore after the nerf this season, so like, it's not there where it was before, but still a solid Pokemon. And Dewgong is a fantastic say-stop that has ground-type coverage, which just makes a really good core here together, the Marowak plus the Dewgong. We have two answers to flying-type Pokemon in the back. We have Rockset still on the Marowak in the lead. It's going to be a very solid team here that I think is going to perform even better than it shows right now. The Primeape can be a bit of an issue though, like Train type Pokemon can be a bit of an issue with the backline that we are having here right now. And the final team for today is of course going to be Parasect. Obviously, like you all seen all the teams prior, you must have seen that coming as well. Like Parasect of course is going to be the final Pokemon for the final team. It just makes sense, right? Like Parasect, an obvious answer. Right, okay, no jokes aside, why Parasect? This Pokemon has access to Cross Poison as well as Exeter, which gives you coverage as well against the Fairy type Pokemon of this meta. But also, this Pokemon itself is going to be one of the hardest answers to Hypno, which is going to be amazing. This Pokemon is going to be one of the hardest answers to Slowbro. It's going to be a hard answer to the Dark type Pokemon of this meta, and it's just generally fun. It got buffed so much recently that this Pokemon is now absolutely a meta Pokemon to run. And if you get the double boost with Cross Poison, this Pokemon just goes through teams. Seaking here is just to cover up the Fire type weakness, same goes for Slowbro as well as Lapras in the back, both of which are going to work out quite well with it. But I feel like the Parasect is a super underrated breaker for this meta, so if you want to have some fun early on in the season, this might be the Pokemon for you, this might be the team for you, and this might be the channel for you. So feel free to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.